What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video on this Saturday, day 2 of Jets rookie camp. Today, I wanted to go through Aaron Glenn's quotes and share with you what the biggest takeaways were from Aaron Glenn's press conference. Let's get it started with Aaron Glenn's message to the team at rookie minicamp.
Good. Well, it felt good being being on the grass, from being inside and being in meetings for a while. And I'm going to tell you guys exactly somewhat of what I told the players on the first day. Here's what we had. We had about 10 guys that was part of this camp who's actually been a part of our program already, like about 5 weeks of the phase that we have. 7 draft picks, 15 undrafted free agents, and I think we had about 12 trial guys. So, man, we had guys from like major Division I programs, some guys from 1AA. We had some guys from HBCUs. And I told those guys it really doesn't matter like where you from, even what you did. The thing is, they all done a great job to get in the building. And once you get in the building, you have a shot. Once you get in the building, you have a shot. So I thought it was important for them to understand that. I thought it was important for them to understand the direction of what we're trying to do in this camp, that it wasn't a true physical camp, but there were 3 things I was trying to get out of those guys. What I want to know is, can they learn? 1, 2, are they coachable? And 3, can they play special teams? And I think a lot of those guys answered those questions. So that was my message to those guys, and I thought those guys did a really good job. So any questions?
Once you get in this building, you have a shot. I love that quote. That's what stood out to me the most. I think pretty much the tone that Glenn and company is trying to set is it's very competition-based. Nobody's spot is given to them. It is earned. And like, look, let's be honest. Is Sauce Gardner in danger of losing his spot? That's not what I mean by this. Just essentially that, you know, you're going to have to work for it. And whatever, you know, you did for the last regime, it's different. Like a new sheriff in town. That was the talk yesterday, too, with Aaron Glenn in the mix and at practice. But I just thought he gave a really good answer on what he's looking for out of minicamp so far. It's not just the rookies, though. Aaron Glenn spoke about some of the veterans and how it's been going on implementing essentially the culture and what they're trying to build going forward.
Listen, outstanding. I think those guys have done a hell of a job of understanding what we're trying to create. I think we had over 90% in phase 1, and going into phase 2, we're up to about 94%. So I give those guys a lot of credit of understanding like what we're trying to create and just buying in to what we're selling. And when you get a new regime, that's the one thing you want to make sure you do. Just get the trust of the players. And I do believe with every part of me that these guys know exactly what we're trying to do. And the thing is, my verbiage has been very simple from the beginning. And as it goes to phase 3, the verbiage is going to change because we're doing things different. Because now we're really on the field. There's some competitive moments out there. And then exactly how I see the identity of the team going forward, because we're on the grass at that point.
What is it? Glenn is very happy with the turnout of, you know, the voluntary periods. They're going to have mandatory minicamp in June, and then you'll get to OTAs and training camp, and I can't wait. It's just inching so much closer to the real thing coming down the pike here. It goes quick. The NFL offseason feels like begins right after the season ends. You get into free agency, you get into the draft, and then, you know, May and June's a little bit quieter, but once you get to July, man, it's training camp, preseason, and you're right back in this thing. But love the answer from Glenn on what he's trying to do and that the team is really buying in. The next thing that I wanted to get into was some comments on Justin Fields.
There's a quiet confidence about that man that's unshakable. And even though that he's not the most vocal person, he's active with his body language. He's active with his one-on-one conversations. If he has to stand in front of the guys and say something, he will. He will. He's not one of those guys going to talk just to talk, because sometimes if you do that, you know, players around you can get deadhead. But he says things when it needs to be said. He's a really good athlete. He works his butt off in the weight room. He's another guy that he's doing everything he can to improve. And whatever advantage he can get from coaching, strength and conditioning, being on the field, he's going to get that. He's going to take that advantage, and he's going to run with it. So I'm very happy where he's at. I'm very happy with actually all the quarterbacks that we have in this program right now. And I know they're going to push each other to be better.
A quiet confidence, he says, on Justin Fields. Look, I don't know the answer if he's going to be the guy long term or not. It's an uphill battle for Justin Fields. He has to improve in order to be the long term starting quarterback for the New York Jets. But I will say, I think Aaron Glenn does have a belief in him. And sure, naturally, as a head coach, we've seen, just comparing to what Robert Saleh did, he talked up his guys a lot, all the quarterbacks. But I think the Jets, based on, Glenn's comments on Fields months ago, when he was essentially like, they want him to kind of just let it loose and play quarterback, I think there's some confidence from Glenn in Justin Fields. And again, we'll see how that transitions onto the field, but it really feels like, and again, this is my biggest takeaway from this quote, is the Jets are going to give Justin Fields every single opportunity to prove that he is the guy going forward. It also seems like Aaron Glenn absolutely loves Arian Smith. Listen to this quote that he had on Smith.
It's only they're running around in shorts with no pads, but a couple of pass-catching guys with Mason and Arian Smith. With any instant takeaways from those two guys?
Listen, Aaron has some juice, don't he? God, he can run and he's bouncy, and he's a really good athlete. And I thought the first day he went out there and he was really focused on making sure that I see through the ball and make sure I could bring it in. I think he did a good job yesterday catching the ball. Mason is exactly who we thought he was. He has dynamic movements. He can really catch the ball. He do a good job catching the ball away from his body. He's quick to bring it in and get north and south, exactly like we want, which we call knifing. So listen, I'm happy with both of those men, and there's a clear vision of how we're going to utilize those guys, and I'm glad they're on our team.
The speed. That's the big thing with Arian Smith. If he's going to have success at the next level, it's because he is incredibly, incredibly fast. The Jets wanted someone with speed. Once Kyle Williams was off the board, they viewed Arian Smith as their next best option. Some people were mad at me that I brought up the drops yesterday. Whatever, I'm just trying to, again, give you the full context of the picture that you're looking at with each one of these players. Again, if Arian Smith is to have success at the NFL level, I want him to have success. I want him to be amazing. He compared himself to Deshaun Jackson in a way. I hope to God he has a Deshaun Jackson-like career. He had, I believe it was 5 1,000-yard seasons in his career. That'd be freaking awesome if Arian Smith does that in the NFL. What's going to set him apart is his speed. And that's, again, to me, the obvious reason why the Jets liked him so much and what they're trying to get out of him. They saw his, what he did as a track star. They saw what he did at Georgia playing football, and they are confident that his speed is going to be what sets him apart. So these were the biggest quotes to me that stood out from Aaron Glenn on his team at rookie camp. One more day tomorrow. I don't know if I'll be able to get a video up tomorrow on Mother's Day. We'll do my best. Shout out to all the Jets moms out there. Thank you for hanging with us and being one of our biggest supporters here. So we appreciate you guys. That'll do it for me on this one. I'm Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you next time.